I didn't believe in sleep paralysis. Not really. I'd read the Reddit threads, listen to the podcast episodes where people describe the old hag or the shadow man, and I always thought, that's just a malfunction, a glitch in the brain's wake-sleep cycle. A misfiring of the pawns. A night terror with a cultural paint job. That was before I moved into my grandmother's house, before I learned that some glitches aren't bugs, they're messages. My grandmother, Eleanor, died in April. She was 92, sharp as a tack until the last 6 months when she started leaving voicemails that were just static and breathing. My mom said it was dementia. The doctors agreed. But when I cleared out Eleanor's bedroom, I found a journal hidden between the mattress and box spring, bound in black leather, the pages filled with a handwriting that started neat and devolved into a frantic, jagged scribble. The last entry, dated 3 days before her death, read only 3 words: "It knows the code." I didn't think much of it at the time. I was 32, freshly divorced, and needed a place to live while I rebuilt my life. Her house in rural Pennsylvania, a 2-story colonial with a wraparound porch and a basement that smelled like wet wool, was paid off. Free rent. Just needed to fix the leak in the kitchen ceiling and replace the water heater. Easy enough. The first night I slept on an air mattress in the living room because the master bedroom still had her old hospital bed in it, and that felt too much like sleeping in a casket. I fell asleep around midnight, the sound of crickets and the distant hum of the interstate 2 miles away. I woke up at 3:17 a.m. I know the time because the cable box glowed green digits in the dark, and I couldn't move. It was textbook. The weight on my chest, that crushing pressure like someone had stacked cinder blocks on my sternum. I could see the ceiling fan, the water stain shaped like a rabbit, the edges of my vision going gray. I tried to lift my hand. Nothing, tried to scream, my jaw wouldn't unclench, but I wasn't scared, I was fascinated. So this is it, I thought, just a chemical spasm, ride it out. Then I heard the footsteps, coming from the basement, slow, deliberate. The steps were wooden and old, and each footfall creaked in a specific sequence. Step, pause, like someone counting down a staircase they'd never reached the bottom of. The sound moved up the basement stairs. The door at the top was closed, but I heard the knob rattle. Once. Twice. Then a low, wet scraping sound, like a tongue dragged across dry wood. I couldn't turn my head, couldn't close my eyes. All I could do was stare at the ceiling and listen as the footsteps crossed the kitchen linoleum. A different sound, soft and sticky, and then stopped at the doorway to the living room. Something stood in the dark. I say something because I couldn't see it clearly. It was a shape, a negative space in the darkness, like a black hole had opened in the air. It had the rough outline of a person, but the proportions were wrong. The shoulders were too wide, the neck too long, the head tilted at an angle that would have snapped a human spine. I felt it looking at me, not with eyes, with intent, with hunger. And then it spoke, not in words, in a sound, a low, vibrating hum that started in my chest and climbed up into my skull, making my teeth ache. The hum formed a pattern, 3 notes repeated, a code, like a phone number you can't unhear. I woke up gasping at 7 a.m., drenched in sweat, the air mattress deflated beneath me. I told myself it was a dream, a vivid nightmare triggered by stress and grief. I got up, made coffee, went to work at the county assessor's office. I didn't think about the hum, I didn't think about the shape. I definitely didn't think about my grandmother's journal, but that night it happened again. Same time, 3:17 a.m., same paralysis, same footsteps from the basement. Same wet scrape at the kitchen door. This time the shape came closer. It stood at the foot of the air mattress and I saw, or hallucinated, a hand reach out. Not a hand, really. A collection of shadows shaped like fingers. It touched my forehead and the hum came louder, clearer. 3 notes, pause, 3 notes. It was teaching me something, a sequence. A rhythm, a lock combination for a door I didn't know existed. By the 5th night, I had moved to the master bedroom. Not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't stay on the air mattress anymore. The dreams, or whatever they were, followed me no matter where I slept. The hospital bed was still there, stripped of sheets, the mattress bare and stained. I lay down on it at 11 p.m., fully clothed, a lamp on, telling myself I would fight it. I didn't fight it. I sank into paralysis like stepping into deep water. This time, the shape didn't stop at the foot of the bed. It climbed onto it. The mattress dipped, and I felt the weight settle on my chest, cold as dry ice, burning and freezing at once. Its face, if you could call it a face, lowered to mine, inches away. I saw something like a mouth, a slit that opened sideways, and inside it not teeth but numbers. Faintly glowing numbers arranged in rows like a digital clock counting down from a number I couldn't read. The hum resolved into three distinct syllables, not a code. A name, Eleanor, my grandmother's name. I woke up screaming. Actually screaming, my throat raw, the lamp knocked over, the room dark. I sat up and saw that the basement door, the one at the top of the stairs, the one I always kept closed, was wide open. Light spilled up from below, a light I had never turned on. I went down the stairs. I don't know why. The air got colder with each step, and the smell changed from wet wool to something metallic like old pennies and ozone. At the bottom, the light came from a wall I'd never really examined. A concrete wall painted over, with a large rectangular patch of newer concrete, roughly the size of a door. Painted on the wall, in what looked like dried coffee or rust, was a sequence of numbers. 17 3 17 8 1 14 14 5 12. I stared at it for a long time. Then I got my phone and called my mother. "Mom, did Grandma have a safe or a hidden room?" Silence, then, "Why are you asking?" "Just answer the question." "There was a false wall in the basement. Your grandfather put it in back in the 70s. Said it was a bomb shelter. But after he died, your grandmother sealed it up. She said there wasn't anything in there worth remembering." "Did she ever say what was in it?" Another long silence, the kind of silence that has weight. "She told me once when she was deep in the dementia that she'd locked something in the walls, not a thing. A person. She said the person had been trying to get out for 40 years, but she kept feeding it the code to hold the door shut." Feeding it the code. Every night, she said she'd lie in bed and hum it until she fell asleep. 3 numbers over and over. She said if she stopped, the door would open. I hung up. I looked at the numbers again. 17 3 17 8 1 14 14 5 12. I typed them into my phone's note app. 17 3 17 8 1 14 14 5 12. Then I converted them. A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3. 17 is Q3 is C17 is Q8 is H1 is A14 is N14 is N5 is E12 is LQCQHANNELQCQ handle. It wasn't a word. It was a prompt. A broadcast frequency. A handle, a channel. She hadn't sealed a person in the wall. She de-sealed a signal. I stayed in the house. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm stubborn or stupid, or because the hum had already gotten into my head and I couldn't stop hearing it even during the day. I stopped sleeping. I drank coffee until my hands shook. I Googled QCQ handle. Nothing. I searched the dark web on a public library computer and found a single reference on a forum that had been archived in 1993. A post from user at Eleanor 1954 that said simply, "I tuned the box. It knows where I live now. Do not repeat the sequence." Beneath it, a reply from a deleted account. "Too late. It's broadcasting." That night, I tried not to sleep. I sat in the living room, all the lights on, a baseball bat in my lap, the TV playing infomercials at full volume. At 3:17 a.m., the power went out, not the whole house, just the living room. The rest of the lights stayed on, but the living room went pitch black. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face, and I heard it, the basement door opening, the footsteps coming up, not from the basement this time, from inside the walls. The hum started in my left ear. The 3 notes. 17 3 17. QCQ over and over, a chant, a prayer, a dial tone. I felt my body go rigid. The bat fell from my hand. I slid off the couch and landed on my back on the carpet, staring up at the ceiling fan, paralyzed as the shape rose from the floorboards, pulled itself together from dust and dark, and stood over me. It was no longer formless. It had a face now, and the face was my grandmother S. But her eyes were white. Her mouth hung open, and inside, instead of a tongue, there was a television screen, small and gray, playing static. She leaned down until her forehead touched mine, and I heard her voice, but not her voice, a recorded voice like a message on an answering machine. "You inherited the house. You inherit the broadcast. You have 3 nights to learn the code. On the 4th night, you open the door and I go home, or I stay and you take my place in the wall." The static in her mouth grew louder, and I saw images flickering on the little screen, rooms, hallways, faces I didn't recognize, all of them frozen, mouths open, eyes wide, trapped inside the signal. One of them was my grandmother. One of them was my grandfather. One of them, I swear to God, had my face. She straightened up, walked to the wall, dissolved into it. The power came back. I'm writing this from a motel 620 miles away. It's 2 a.m. I have my phone, a bag of clothes, and my grandmother's journal. I'm never going back to that house, but I can still hear the hum, Faint beneath the traffic, beneath the hum of the motel's air conditioner. 3 notes, over and over. QCQ 17317. It's not coming from outside. It's coming from between my ears, from inside the part of my brain that wakes before I do. And I just realized something I didn't want to realize. The code on the wall. 173178114141512. QCQHANNEL. It's not the lock combination. It's the password, and I've been humming it under my breath for the last hour without realizing it. The motel door just creaked. I don't think I have 3 nights left.